September 11th, 2001 is a day that forever changed the world. But what led up to this tragic event, and what were its consequences? Let's dive into the history, the day of the attacks, and the aftermath of 9/11. To understand 9/11, we need to go back several decades. In the 1980s, Afghanistan was embroiled in a war with the Soviet Union. The United States, seeking to counter Soviet influence, supported Afghan Mujahideen fighters, including a young Saudi named Osama bin Laden. After the Soviet withdrawal, Afghanistan fell into civil war, and bin Laden formed the militant group al-Qaeda, with the goal of establishing an Islamic State and expelling Western influence from Muslim countries. In the 1990s, al-Qaeda began targeting the United States. The first major attack was the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, where a truck bomb exploded in the basement, killing 6 people and injuring over 1,000. This was a precursor to the larger, more devastating attacks to come. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, 19 terrorists from al-Qaeda hijacked 4 commercial airplanes. Their plan was to use these planes as missiles to attack key targets in the United States. American Airlines Flight 11 crashes into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The impact creates a massive fireball and sends shockwaves through the building. United Airlines Flight 175 strikes the South Tower. Both towers are now burning, and the world watches in horror. American Airlines Flight 77 crashes into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, causing a massive fire and structural damage to the military headquarters. United Airlines Flight 93 crashes into a field in Pennsylvania. Passengers on board had fought the hijackers, preventing the plane from reaching its intended target, likely the U.S. Capitol or the White House. The impact of these attacks was catastrophic. Both towers of the World Trade Center eventually collapsed, resulting in nearly 3,000 deaths and thousands more injuries. First responders and volunteers worked tirelessly to rescue survivors and recover bodies, but the devastation was immense. The U.S. quickly identified Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda as the perpetrators. On September 20th, 2001, President George W. Bush addressed the nation, declaring a war on terror. This led to the invasion of Afghanistan in October 2001, with the goal of dismantling al-Qaeda and removing the Taliban from power. The aftermath of 9/11 saw significant changes in U.S. and global policies. The USA Patriot Act was passed, expanding surveillance capabilities to prevent future attacks. Airport security was dramatically increased with the creation of the Transportation Security Administration, TSA. Internationally, the war on terror expanded to include the 2003 invasion of Iraq, justified by claims that Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction and had links to al-Qaeda. This war was highly controversial and led to significant loss of life and political upheaval in the region. While the political and military responses are well documented, the personal stories from 9/11 are equally important. Thousands of families were affected by the loss of loved ones. First responders, many of whom suffered long-term health effects from their work at Ground Zero, are remembered as heroes. Survivors and family members of victims have shared their experiences through various media, ensuring that the personal impact of 9/11 is not forgotten. Memorials, such as the National September 11th Memorial and Museum in New York, serve as places of remembrance and education. 9/11 was a turning point in history, leading to profound changes in how the world addresses terrorism and security. The attacks highlighted the vulnerabilities of even the most powerful nations and underscored the importance of global cooperation in combating terrorism. As we remember the events of September 11th, 2001, we honor the resilience and bravery of those affected. The legacy of 9/11 is a reminder of both the capacity for human destruction and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more history content.